Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Bryce Wes Fishing. So we got something a little different today. I know I always say that, but I mean it this time. So we are fishing a tournament with Queen City Kayak Bass Fishing on Santee Cooper. So we go down there with a couple of other guys. We got John House with House Fishing Adventures and Mark with Slow Boat Fishing. Is that your thing, Mark? Yep, Slow Boat Fishing. So anyway, we're down there at this Airbnb, pre-fishing, practicing, getting ready for the tournament. By the way, Mark grabs my phone and takes a selfie being a little prankster there. So you got to pay the piper, Mark. Just kidding. Love you, brother. Y'all go to his YouTube page, Slow Boat Fishing, and hit the subscribe button for him. So anyway, we're down there. I think we got down there. We pre-fished Thursday, Friday, and the tournament was Saturday. So we get back to the house Thursday, and John, Mark, Bryce, we're all fishing, kind of sort of helping each other, but at the same time, we're all competing against each other. So everybody's a little reserved on what they share, if that makes sense. But I could tell the energy at the house on day one for practice was good on the John and Mark side, meaning they figured something out, right? So me and Bryce hadn't really figured anything out. And then day two of practice, I'm out there fishing and this boat comes in behind me. It wasn't a bass boat, it was like a saltwater skeg. Is that what you call it? Skeg? Skiff, it was skiff. And anyway, eventually he wasn't fishing, he was just kind of going up and down the bank, and he comes up to me eventually and he says, "You gonna fish those beds?" And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, "Look down." I look down and I shit you not, there was about 4 or 5 bass beds within my line of sight where I was fishing. So here's the thing, I'm not a bass bed fisherman. I'm just not that guy. I've seen them before, I think, but it's just not my forte. It's not something I've ever looked for. It's not something that I've ever tried to do. So anyway, I hung out with the guy for 20, 30 minutes. He gave me like the bed fishing 101, if you want to call it that. The way it works, the male, when the water hits a certain temperature, usually it's a smaller male, they'll move up to the shallows and they're going to use their bodies and their tails, and they're going to clear everything on the bottom of the lake, and they're going to make a bed about this big, right? And then they just sit there and wait. And then here comes the big girl, right? So this big female largemouth bass, you don't know nothing about this male or nothing. She just comes on up in that bed, right? So she comes on up and they do the dirty. Actually, I don't think they do the dirty. She just lays her eggs and then he goes to work on the eggs. So anyway, so big female comes up, she finds the bed, she lays her eggs, and then she stays there. People say different things. Some people say 2 weeks, some people say 3 weeks, some people say 1 week. From what I understand, let's just say 2 weeks. So she lays her eggs, stays there about 2 weeks, and that's it. She leaves. After she leaves, the male stays there and he protects the eggs. It's like an incubation period that they go through. And then after the bass hatch and they become big enough to kind of defend themselves and find their own food, the male leaves. All right, so that's essentially bed bass fishing, or bass. That's how the bed bass thing goes. After I saw that, I was on a mission. I was like, let me just find as many beds as I can and I'll give it a shot, right? So I started scoping out. I covered about 4 miles and I found 11 bass beds. Now, towards the end of the day of Friday, the last day of practicing, I found a massive female bass on a bed with a male. I mean, she was huge. I thought it was a gar because it was so long, right? And whenever I'm searching for these beds, as I would get 2-3 feet away, they would spook. But I kid you not, like 30 seconds they would come right back. So to me, that's good news. It's like, all right, they're active, they're being super protective, they're willing to come back that quick. So can I do something here, right? So here it is, tourney day. I share with the guys that I found the beds. The guys are not really interested in bed fishing. Bryce wasn't really interested in bed fishing, but this is kind of like a Hail Mary for me. So essentially, tourney day, my plan was to go straight to that spot with that big female bass and just give it a shot and see what happens. I got to the spot. The sun wasn't even up yet, so I couldn't really see the bed. I knew where it was, I just couldn't see it to cast. So, but I didn't want anybody to come in and take that spot, take that bed, so I just started kind of fishing to the right and the left of it with top water, just until the sun comes up. Well, the sun came up, and here come 2 bass boats flying in, and I heard one of them cussing. So both those bass boats had found that bed and found that big female, and their plan on their tourney day was to catch that big female, but I had beat them to it. I actually heard one of the guys on the boat just cussing about her, whatever. But so anyway, pressure's on. I just started fishing the bed. I started out with just kind of like, again, I don't know anything about bed fishing, but I started out with like wacky, very light, very small trick worm. And then I moved up to a heavy wacky, tried some other things. And there was one point where I casted, and then I just kind of got distracted for a second. I looked down and my line was like 8 feet outside of the bed. I didn't cast there, right? So the fish had actually picked up my bait and moved it out of the bed. And I was like, okay, we're on to something. So about 2 hours in, with 2 bass boats just sitting here watching me, waiting on me to give up, I got the bite. So the big female bit it, she ran, and I got her. And I was using light line. We're talking 8-pound fluorocarbon on a medium rod spinning reel. Yeah, nuts. And everybody thinks that it took me like 10 minutes to fight this fish. It didn't. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if I was just muscling her in, but it was only 10, 15 seconds, and I had her in the boat. And again, as I had her in the boat, you could hear those bass guys just over there cussing and talking to themselves. So anyway, it was a super, super, super rewarding experience. I didn't have a scale. I actually asked the guy on the bass boat if he got a scale, and that just pissed him off even more. And I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I got it, right? So I'm not exaggerating. This fish had to be at least 7 pounds. And I'm telling you, I get it. You got people out here that say their fish is like this big when it's actually only this big. They hold it up like this. I'm telling you, I'm being light with my guesstimate here. This thing had to be 7 pounds. I didn't have the scale with me, especially on a lake like Santee Cooper. So anyway, caught the big female. Now again, it took me about 2.5 hours to catch this fish. I started with top water a bit, but it was probably 2 hours of me trying. So after I caught this fish, the game plan was let's head to the other beds, right? So the next set of beds, there was 4 or 5 of them. Nobody had fished those beds because there was these bank fishermen that were throwing their lines in, and I guess nobody wanted to they didn't want to bother them, I guess. But I asked them, I was like, hey, y'all mind if I just squeeze by real quick? And they're like, yeah, no problem. And so went over there, caught another big female. I think she was like 18 3/4, almost 19 inches. And then I caught a smaller male of like 16.5. So I got 3 fish on a 4 fish limit club or tournament. So I was in good shape. I just needed 1 more. Then I left that area and headed to my last set of beds. And by the time I got there, those beds had been completely wrecked with fishing pressure. I mean, those fish, you couldn't get 10 feet away. As soon as they thought that you were getting close, they would just spook and they would run away and they would not come back. The other bed, they would come back in 30 seconds. Nah. I mean, it was like 10, 15 minutes before you might see them again. So it was super tricky. So anyway, I wasn't able to catch my 4 fish for the 4 fish limit. But I tell you, going out on tourney day like that, practicing, coming up with a plan, and just kind of throwing a Hail Mary and hoping for the best, and it worked out to catch a big female like that. It's super, super rewarding. After I caught that fish, I could have gone home for the day and I'd have been totally fine. And I've heard some comments on Facebook, hey, if you catch big fish like that, don't be putting it on social media because people know where your fish are. Well, here's the deal. I'm not looking to be a bass master, which that would be wonderful. But, whenever you have a YouTube channel, you kind of have to balance that out. You have to ask yourself, are you going to try to make content for people to enjoy and, enjoy? Or you're going to try to go out here and be a competition angler and just hide everything. But you can't do both. So we're kind of all in here. So if you can figure out where this spot is and go back there and catch them, I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you. And honestly, I really don't give a shit. Life's just too short. So anyway, this is Bed Fishing 101 on Santee Cooper. Bryce also caught him a few fish as well. We hope you enjoy the video. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching.
That's my. They biting, boys? About damn time, huh?
How big is that one?
He's got to be 7 pounds.
I guess it would be 7 when I bring this.
I ain't got a scale. You fellas got a scale? Are you in a tournament?
Yeah.
I'll just, I'll measure them, boys. I don't want to slow y'all down. "23-inch largemouth bass." I was shaking. Look at this thing. Oh, shit. All right, 12 3/4 first catch. All right, 17 3/4 fat one, second catch. Another bedding fish, 14.75. Look at that gash in him. Somebody has, I don't know if he's been caught before and somebody's snagging him. That is illegal. Can't be doing that. Poor guy. Third catch, 18 1/4. 18 1/4. Look at that. All right, so we're all wrapped up with event number 3, Queen City kayak bass fishing. There's Bryce. So, wow, I think Bryce, I think he caught 2, so we got some points for the team event. And I wasn't able to get my 4th one. Probably had like 20 minutes left and I lost one. It was a small one, but it would have been a limit. But either way, without that 4th fish, I got 56 inches because of the 23-inch fish. So I learned a lot, especially about bed fishing. So I can't be, can't be too hard on myself. So it's all about learning and doing better next time. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching.